Hey there, good evening. I'm in the middle of Mercury retrograde, I guess. I was trying to figure out the different profiles and still get to you all on time. So here I am. I hope you guys are warm and doing well this evening. I hope that you are feeling peace or flow through everything we're experiencing. There's a lot of energy going on with the planets right now, and it's really creating lots of fun things to explore with communication and relationships and beyond. I'm sure you're having your own experiences with that. So I'm hoping you're finding your way to stay centered and have peace and ground and take care of yourself during this time. I have found today, especially and yesterday too, that just gentle movement in my body and stretching has been incredibly beneficial. And I've actually heard a couple other people remark on that as well. So if that speaks to your body or soul, make sure to just do a little side bend, touch your toes. Even the most simplistic things can get the energy moving between the physical, spiritual, and of course, mental and emotional too. This evening, we're jumping into heart walls. And I don't know if you've heard of heart walls before. So if you'd like to share anything that you know or just say hi, if you're on the feed, feel free to drop in the comments that you are watching and your experience with heart walls if you've had one. As we get into that, I do want to pose the question to you here this evening. What would life look like if no one could hurt you unless you gave them permission? What would your life look like if no one could hurt you unless you gave them permission to? Now, this is quite a different perspective than what most of us experience in life because it really takes us out of any victim role. And in fact, it's incredibly huge self responsibility to say, I hold these boundaries. I have enough self trust. I have enough discernment. I'm using my intuition. And I can allow that to guide me as I need it to. And that's all the more protection I need because everything here is to serve us. Life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. So if the interactions that we're having with people around us are for us on our behalf, then we have a lot of self empowerment regarding what we experience in this life. And once we learn those lessons, you guys have probably heard me say this before, and you'll hear me say it again. Once we learn these lessons in life, those circumstances that are uncomfortable tend to go to the wayside and not continue to repeat themselves. Hi, Joni. It's good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. All right, so what are heart walls? Let's talk about what heart walls are. Words are kind of hard today coming out of my mouth, so bear with me. Things kind of been getting jumbled together. And I was watching someone else's video and they actually commented the same. So I'm not alone in that aspect, but we'll try to keep things as clear and crisp as possible. Heart walls are, energetically a wall that we build up around our heart. They protect us from getting hurt in the simplest of definitions. And it's really, I like to, with image, imagine that every time I got hurt, I put a brick. And eventually I built this wall up around my heart to keep people out, to protect myself, to keep me safe, to emotionally make me feel secure. And in doing so, the connections that I had with other people were very superficial. I failed to connect. And that's really the result of heart walls, is that walls don't let good things pass through. Walls keep everything out, the good, the bad. Now, I love this analogy of a cell wall in having studied so much functional medicine that the cell wall does the opposite. It allows good things to pass through while holding the cell together and keeping some of the bad stuff out. That's really what we want. We want to have boundaries, not walls. And also with our heart walls, when we build up these walls, we're really hoarding negative emotions, those negative experiences that happened to us along the way that caused us to say, oh, I don't want that to happen again. I'm creating a wall and I'm walling myself off. Again, because there's no filtration system in a wall, the bad stays locked in. And that energy only affects us. Well, it does ripple out. Hurt people. But the biggest impact is the impact that it has on us because we don't reach the level of fulfillment that we want to have with other individuals. And in doing so, we get really irritated or defeated, give up. A lot of people will give up. So heart walls don't work for us. They don't. They really tend to cut us off from all sorts of things. So, what does self-trust have to do with heart walls? Self-trust is so incredibly powerful because when you trust yourself enough to have the discernment to tune into your intuition, to make choices that truly serve you, the interactions that you begin to have with people come down to a very simplistic choice of I am going to invest in, it could be a coworker, a friend, a family member, an intimate partner. I'm going to invest in this person, or I'm going to walk away. It's that simple. Hey, Sammy Joe, thanks for jumping in. But it relies upon us having self-trust. There's a multitude of ways that we lose trust in ourselves, and it usually starts at a very, very young age when we're incredibly impressionable. And in the most simplistic of ways, it will happen when we want to do something or want to have something, or even more so with heart walls and the emotions, when as kids we feel something and adults regulate our responses and tell us how we should respond without acknowledging the emotion at all. This becomes very confusing for us in that development because we feel like, well, I thought this emotion that I'm having corresponds with the situation, but now you're telling me it's not. I need to sit down and be quiet. So I can't trust myself with the responses that I'm having or the ways I feel or the things I think. And that's in the very most simplistic ways. As you go through life, I'm sure you can identify several ways that you lost trust in yourself. I know I've made some really poor decisions throughout life that may have seemed fun or may have seemed right in the moment, or I don't know, whatever motivates you for making the decisions, right? So with my first marriage, for instance, I had this ideal really in my head. I'm going to grow up and I'm going to get married and it's all going to happen at a very young age. And it did. And it didn't work out for me. And so we put some bricks up and build that wall and lose the self-trust. So as you explore your heart wall, because most of us have them, explore the ways in which you lost your self-trust. Self-trust is one of the biggest keys. When you can bring that back, you're going to be so much more encouraged to be emotionally open with people. You're going to have nothing that you want to hide. For years, I carried shame with my divorce, terrible shame, from religious aspect to letting my family down to the rumors that went around in that situation. And now I realize by me hiding that fact or not ever talking about it, I don't know that I ever overtly hid it, If you asked me, I would be open about it. But by me keeping it to myself, there are a whole plethora of people I didn't connect with because there's lots of people who share my experience, and together we're stronger. Hey, Rachel, thanks for jumping in. So let's explore how you can discern if you have self-trust. It's really simple. I want you to put your hand on your heart. Take a couple of breaths, just center yourself. You can close your eyes if you want to. Whatever space just takes you to this neutral space. And I want you to just very first think about something where you had a lot of fun, or it's your happy place. For me, it's a beach. I'm going to think about a beach and the sun and the sand. And then I want you to feel into whether or not your body moves in a direction. Are you being pulled forward? Being drawn in? And then I want you to think about something that you really dislike. For me, it's just incredibly overwhelming noise, loud, and you feel your body move. So when it doesn't align with your heart space, with your being, you tend to move back. The energy pulls you back from it. When it does align, the energy pulls you forward. So now I want you to think about whether or not you have self-trust, not whether or not you trust someone external of you, but just yourself. Do you trust yourself? And just tune in to which direction that energy is pulling you. And that is going to tell you whether you're aligned with your self-trust or not. And then if you would like to explore this further, you can of course think about other people. Do I trust, a parent, a sibling, a significant other? And see which direction you go. Yeah, Beth, you felt that energy or pulled away from your happy place instead of toward your happy place. That's very interesting. Usually it's the opposite. So then, Beth, as you explore that, are you pulled toward the negative? Back in when I was happy. Okay, cool. So you're feeling the energy move you. Perfect. So you can explore this more with trusting individuals, specific people, feeling into that energy. And that's going to tell you who you're walling yourself off from, who you don't have trust in. But most importantly, you really need to have the trust in yourself, because I am also not telling you to blindly walk around trusting every single individual that you come into contact with, right? We want to develop and cultivate the discernment, your little spidey senses, because then when you get a feeling that something's a little bit off and someone does something, it's not a surprise. They're just showing you who they are. And it doesn't have to hurt you. It doesn't have to emotionally have that shock value, because you have that discernment, you have that trust to self, and you're okay, truly. So to explore things further, I also want to invite you, if journaling is your thing, meditation, holding the intention of when did I stop trusting myself? And quite likely, there's going to be a multitude of different occasions on your timeline, what I call your timeline, your life experience. And then you can use some tapping or any tools that you have in your toolkit to start taking that heart wall down piece by piece. Or if you would like to have more assistance and guidance with two expert individuals in their fields, you can join us for a workshop this Saturday, virtually or in person. And you can also get the replay if you can't join us live. We are going to further develop your intuition, connecting you to your intuition, connecting you to your trust, to self-trust, to starting to take down this heart wall, blasting through it so you can have closer connections, strengthened connections with your loved ones. Additionally, Sammy Joe is going to come in with her incredible chakra, crystal healing, and shamanic earth medicine work, and is going to teach you all about your chakras and what your chakras tell you in regards to the areas in your relationship that you have some struggles. And she's going to give you tools on how to balance those chakras and work through those blocks so that you can start showing up in your relationships the way that you want to. We would love to have you at that workshop if you would like to join. I will drop a link in the comments here as I close out. So, Sammy Joe, if you're pulled forward, is it trust? Yes, unless the muscle testing is reversed. So, if you were pulled forward when you were thinking of something bad, then that would be essentially not trusting, right? So it depends upon that very beginning calibration. When you think about your happy place, if you go forward and then you go forward with your self trust, that's an alignment. So I hope that makes sense. If you need more clarification, let me know. Okay, so I really am excited for you guys to explore the self trust because things really shift with this for people from work, personal relationships, all the dynamics, and the self love that you cultivate for yourself. Being able to trust yourself and know which direction you should take yourself makes making decisions easier, so on and so forth. It's huge. You just really truly struggle. And that was truly my own experience. I struggled and struggled in life until I came to develop and cultivate my self trust and to be able to be emotionally open to share my true self with the world. Because until we do that, we will never attract in other people who are in that same space of being emotionally available with us. So I'm not seeing any more questions. I'm going to go ahead and end this here this evening. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you do have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll be sure to respond after the video is closed out.